Do we not have a homelessness crisis in our state, in our country, that's bad enough? Are the politicians of our state of Rhode Island, where I'm from, and every other state in the United States, are they doing anything to help the homeless people, to try to stop homelessness? No, they do nothing, but they keep welcoming anyone who wants to come to the United States legally or illegally, most of them illegally. Welcome you with open arms. Keep on coming. Don't worry about all the American citizens that are homeless. We're going to find a safe place for you. Well, yesterday, the governor of the state of Rhode Island, Dan McKee, decided to pen a letter to good old Sleepy Joe. And I'll quote, he said, "Due to Russia's despicable acts of war, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have been forced to flee for their lives, leaving loved ones behind to defend their nation. Today, I am writing to say that Rhode Island is prepared to welcome with open arms Ukrainian refugees who were forced from their homes by Russian aggression. Ukrainian refugees should know that they can find solace and safety in our state." And he's also going to keep the State House lit with the colors of Ukraine. I believe they're blue and yellow, which is fine to show support for the country that was unnecessarily invaded by Russia. But that's not my point tonight. My point is, when Biden screwed up the Afghanistan withdrawal, when he got, I forget the number of American troops, he got killed during that botched withdrawal. Old governor of Rhode Island penned a letter to Joe Biden that said, Rhode Island is ready, willing, and able to take the Afghan refugees into our state to be safe. And they should know that we will welcome them and take care of their every need. Wonderful. Now he's telling old drooling Joe that he's ready, willing, and able to accept Ukrainian refugees where they can find solace and safety in our state. Anyone who takes a drive through Rhode Island, go down downtown Providence, through Kennedy Plaza, or down near the Gano Street 195 area, and just look off to the sides and see how many tents you see how many cardboard boxes you see how many shopping carts filled with whatever these people have on the side of the road. You see them everywhere. You see them in just about every city. I see them in Cranston. I see them in Johnston. I see them in Warwick, the cities that I go to most. There's homelessness everywhere in Rhode Island, in every city and town. They're living under bridges, living in woods, living on the side of the road, living near dumpsters, in, on, or around dumpsters. And what are the politicians in this state doing for these people who are residents of the United States? They may not necessarily be from Rhode Island, but they are residents of the United States and happen to be here. What is the governor doing to help these people? What are the politicians doing in every other city and town in Rhode Island doing to help the homeless people? They are doing zero, nothing. They are doing nothing. They've never done anything, and they will continue to do nothing because all they care about is making their fancy speeches and making their big promises that none of them act on, and they're not going to. For this governor, who basically was handed this office when the wonderful Gina Raimondo was called upon by Drool and Joe to go help him destroy the United States, and she so willingly accepted. She took that post in Washington after she was through destroying Rhode Island, burying people, not allowing people to retire at a decent age, at a decent wage, because she thought her pension reform was going to save the state. Oh no, it didn't save the state. What it did was make people who are going to retire going to have to keep working until their 70s and 80s and maybe even longer. And they're probably going to be living on a welfare wage thanks to Gina Raimondo. But now McKee wants to bring in more refugees. Let's show them that Rhode Island cares. Again, he was handed this office when Raimondo left because he was the lieutenant governor for 6 years, a job that came with really nothing to do. He was very, very rarely in the public eye. Raimondo basically kept him out of everything. And I believe when she decided to bounce and go see Uncle Joey, this guy had no idea what Raimondo had going. She didn't include him in meetings. She didn't include him in press conferences. She did nothing for 6 years to give this guy a heads up on, hey, here's what I'm doing to bury this fucking state a little more. So he took the helm, and quite frankly, I don't know what he's done. I don't really follow him. I do know he's going to run for election to really win the office. Do I think he'll win? I don't know. Will I vote for him? I don't know. My point being, here's a guy who inherited the governor's office of a state that was so far behind in economic growth. Unemployment was at an all-time high, and that was before the pandemic. But now, no matter what's going on, he wants to bring in refugees. Well, Mr. Governor, where are you going to put these refugees? Who's going to house them? Who's going to feed them? Who's going to give them money? Is the state of Rhode Island going to take their COVID relief money and rent hotels or build apartment houses for the Afghan refugees or for the Ukraine refugees? Where are they going to live and what are they going to do? Because you know that they're not going to go back to the Ukraine because Putin is basically destroying that country. And I feel that pretty soon, when this war is said and done, and I hope, God willing, Putin doesn't decide to use nuclear weapons because he's that fucking burnt. If he doesn't do that, the Ukraine will be destroyed. So is the Biden administration going to send trillions of dollars to the Ukraine to help rebuild, like the U.S. government did in Iraq, like they did in Pakistan, like they did in Afghanistan? Are they going to spend trillions more dollars that we don't have to spend to rebuild a foreign country when their own country, home soil, is falling apart? Where's the money coming from? Who's taking care of these people? I, for one, I'm not going to welcome them in my home. I'm sorry. Yes, I feel bad for them. It's an awful thing that's going on there. But you know what? It's not our problem. It's not our problem to fix. I'm sorry. Disagree with me, those of you who are watching this, but it's not our problem to fix what's going on there. The only good thing about this is that the United States military will not get involved in fighting with Russia, or so we hope they won't get involved with fighting with Russia. This is all political rhetoric that these politicians are spewing because they know elections are around the corner and they want people to see, look what I'm doing. I'm reaching out to a foreign land to welcome their residents into our home. Oh, really? Well, guess what? You can welcome them to our home, but they can't vote for you, or at least we don't think they can. But if Joey and Carmela had their way, they could come in here and be here for a week and start casting votes, because we all know what that's all about, and we all know how they want to do mail-ins or online voting, and you don't need an ID. Excuse me. So I have questions, and I wonder where these people are going to go. And I don't know if any Afghan refugees came to Rhode Island. And I don't think I'll ever know unless I see a group of them walking down the street. I don't know. But if the Ukrainians decide to come here, I hope you're going to house them in your backyard, and you're going to foot the bill out of your own pocket to keep them safe. Because Lord knows we're taxed to death, and we cannot afford higher taxes to take care of foreign visitors who are here because you put out the olive branch because you need to get reelected next year or this year or whenever the midterm is. I think it's 2022, but I'm not sure. I really don't care. Point again, we are not the Holiday Inn for the world. The United States of America has its own problem with refugees, if you will, and they're called the homeless, where there's millions of them, and no local city, town, or state politician is doing anything to address it and try to fix it, but they're all willing to reach out to the world and take in everybody else's refugees. Why? Because the elections are coming. End of rant. And that's it. That's the truth. I know it. The politicians know it. And anybody watching this, I hope you know it too. This is nothing but political rhetoric that they're going to spew because they know their career is on the line as a politician if they don't do something to make people see or think that they're wonderful and they're doing a great job. So I got nothing else to say. It bothers me that I even have to say this, but it pains me that our country or our state has to be the Holiday Inn for everybody when we have our own people suffering, struggling every day just to get by. But they want to welcome anybody and everybody. Come on in. We're going to take care of you. It's bullshit. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked what I had to say, hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when there's something else coming up. I hope everybody is healthy and safe. And I'll see you soon with something else to talk about. Oh, and remember, Sleepy Joe's State of the Union tonight. Tune in. See what kind of lies he has to say. That ought to be exciting. Have a great night.